Hey guys, it's Dr. Ben here. Welcome to another episode of Brokers Open Podcast. This is where Matt and I come and we ask how he's doing.
I'm doing great, but that's not all we do. We also have incredible guests on like we've got today, right?
That's exactly right. Matt, let's go ahead and bring on Courtney Embry. She is the co-founder of BrickDriven Realty. Courtney, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's our first time meeting ever. No, we've known Courtney for a while. She's an absolute rock star in the real estate industry, and we just begged her, please come on to the show. And she's, of course, I'll do it for you, Ben, but not Matt. So let's get to a few questions. Courtney, you've been in real estate a bit, right?
Been a minute.
Tell us a bit about your backstory. Tell us how you got into real estate, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, it was just really by happenstance. It's not one of those things where I said, "Oh, I always want to be a real estate agent." Actually, I was working in a job, and I was 21 years old, and so they were going to have layoffs, and I was low man on the totem pole, so I was devastated. I was making a whopping $21,000 a year, but I loved the job. I had no clue what that actually meant, but I loved the people that I was with, so I was just so devastated, and I didn't know what I was really going to do. And so one of my coworkers, he said, "Hon, you should get into real estate." I didn't know what that meant. Sales had always intrigued me. And then, of course, I thought, yeah, I'd love to look at pretty houses. And that's really all I thought about real estate. I had no idea what contract to close meant. I was green. I was 21. I'd never bought my own house. Didn't know what title insurance was. Nothing. But so I went home and I got to thinking about it, and I thought, let me look this up. And my age, but I went to the Yellow Pages and was thumbing through the real estate section and found a real estate school and called them the next day. And they were like, yes, they said, we've got a class starting in a few weeks. So I signed up.
I love it. So I got to point out a couple of things. In just a second, I'm gonna talk about your ascent in real estate, right? How all that happened and how you ended up being the co-founder of a great company like BrickDriven. Before we get to that, though, you talked about that bear trap that so many people have stepped in. I like looking at houses. I like sales a little bit. I like looking at houses. The next thing you know, real estate's got a hold of it and you just can't get away. So tell us a little bit about and we're going to get into personal branding here in a few minutes, right? That's part of the reason why we really wanted to have you on here, is because not only have you helped yourself with it, but you've also helped your agents with it, which in my opinion is more powerful than an agent helping themselves with it. But we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's talk about your ascent a little bit into real estate, right? So day one, week one, you listed $5 million houses and everything went well. Is that what happened, or did it go differently than that?
I wish that was the story. Absolutely not. So I got my license in the fall of 2005, and my first closing happened July 28, 2006. And that wasn't quick, but that day sticks out to me because that was the day that I gave birth to my twin daughters. I was actually in labor and had a title company blowing up my phone because I had forgotten to tell the buyer he had to bring a cashier's check. It was a cash closing, a little $50,000 deal. And luckily I knew the guy. I was a little busy. Yeah, I had my priorities in order. And then the first time I ever listed a house, the seller was asking me some tough questions and I was just bombing it. And all the way home, I cried and I walked in and I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. And so my husband, you'd have to know my husband. He's an engineer, so he's just engineer minded. He's very blunt. And he said, tell me about it. And so I told him, and he said, well, let me go through like a listing presentation. If I was a seller, what would you do? And so I sat down with role play, and he was like, oh, that was awful. I wouldn't even hire you. Here came the tears again. And I thought, I'm just going to quit. He said, no, you're not going to quit. But that was really that was my turning point, because it was like, I've got to figure it out. Like, here I am with these two little babies, and it really wasn't going to be cost effective if I, quote, went back to work to have to pay for childcare. I love people. I love competition. I'm independent. So I didn't want that stay at home mom persona. Like, I wanted to be able to do everything with my children. And that's really and truly why real estate was the perfect approach for me, because I was able to have my career, but I was able to be a mom. I didn't miss out on anything. I didn't have to ask off of work to go to school parties. Like when they were sick, I was home. So really and truly, like it took me, I tell everybody, it took me 5 years in this business before I felt like my head was above water. But once I finally got there, and it was off to the races. And not that it's been a yellow brick road the whole way, but very trying. But it's definitely been a blessing to me and my family.
Yeah, I love all of that, and I'm not surprised that was your path, right? Because we've talked about it before and everything, and we know that you love to have everything stacked up just right. Okay, so
I do.
yeah, we love that, which is actually part of the reason why we wanted you to come on and talk to us, because there's a lot of people that have been through the same thing that you went through, and they keep it to themselves and they don't share it the way that you have. You're now the co-founder and broker of BrickDriven along with Shane, and so you do on a regular basis. You share all of those things that you struggle with so that other people don't have to go through that struggle. And so let's talk a little bit about personal brand, because that was a big part of why we wanted to do this, right? So tell me, start out from the bass fishing part, okay? Start out from there and then go through the rest of that from a brand standpoint, because I think this is really important for agents to hear. I know you help your agents understand it, but I want to make sure that all the listeners are able to grasp this as well, because I know it'll help them.
Where I'm located, we are known as the bass fishing capital of the world. Like we're right here on Tennessee River. And so when I was 18 months old, my dad had me in a bass boat, and I did father-daughter fishing tournaments when I was 5, 6 years old. I'd like to point out that we won. The lake has just always been a part of my life. Like growing up as teenagers, that's exactly what we did. Like I had a best friend he lived on the water. We were at his parents' house every weekend. They taught me how to ski, and then we rode jet skis, and it's just part of something that I loved. And so when I got into real estate, I was really intrigued by waterfront houses. Obviously, most of them do have a nicer price point, but it really wasn't that. There's a whole different approach to pricing a waterfront house. And I wanted to learn that. Even just the lot itself, there's difference. Is it in a floodplain? Is it not? Can you build here? Do you have to build above this line? There was just something that intrigued me about it. And I really thought, this is what I want to do. This is what I love, and I want to sell these houses. So I really started to learn more about that process. And I guess my brand turned into the waterfront specialist. Mm-hmm. And then still to this day, like I get a lot of phone calls from other agents. Like, hey, I know you know a lot about waterfront. Can you help me? I've got this question and I don't know what it means. And then fast forward to that, okay, if I'm going to be selling these houses, I want to live on the lake. So that was just a burning desire that I had. And part of that too was my business is if I'm going to sell them, I want to live on them. But the other part was I wanted my kids to have the same experience that I did growing up. And so in 2019, we sold our house and we started building on the lake. It's just, people think that like whatever you meditate on and you manifest, and some people don't believe in that, but I do. I just believe that if you really do, and it's a goal and it's a burning desire, then that's what you work hard for and that's what you'll accomplish. Yeah, that's been really fun to see it come to fruition. And I love being the house where all the teenagers can come and hang out and have a good time on the lake. And like, I just reminisce. That's exactly what I loved when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Now, I know you, BrickDriven as a whole, like you're very much focused on your community. And I know that you guys do things throughout the year. I know that you have something you said there was something going on with a food bank. Tell me a little bit about that. I have a follow-up to this, but I want to make sure that if our listeners can help with this, we want to help with that out. So share that with us.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. This is one of my agents, Elizabeth Faust, who found out that our local Salvation Army food bank the pantry was basically empty. And so she came to me and she said, we've got to do something. And I said, absolutely. Actually, tomorrow we're having a big canned food drive. And so our agents are going out into the community saying, hey, you got anything in your pantry you want to give? And if they don't, then, hey, we're taking donations till Friday of this week. We'll come back and we'll pick them up, or you can drop them off at our office. But yeah, that's definitely something that's near and dear to my heart. I have the theory that as a real estate agent, we're successful because of our community. We sell houses in the community. We help these people find their dream home, and we're successful. And I love doing that. So yeah, we play a big part in our local Salvation Army, whether it's the food drive. We'll be doing the Easter basket just in a couple of weeks with Easter rolling around. We've done every year we do the angel tree around Christmas time, and that's a lot of fun. I love to make Shane put together baskets. Yeah, I try my best to get about 20 plus for him to do like at midnight the night before.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's too funny. That's too funny. Yeah, so I just love that. And you've shared a story with me before that I want everybody to hear, right? Because you got an idea from our through the interview to this point, you got an idea of how she got into real estate. We've talked about how important the community is. And I like bringing things like down just to as much of a personal level as I possibly can. You don't have to use names or anything, Courtney, but you had a deal that you were doing at one point and you went above and beyond. You found out at the very last minute something was going on and you said, you know what? I'm cool. I want to help out. And my main goal is help my customers. Tell us a little bit about that story, if you don't mind, if you can. And because I just think it's really important for our listeners to hear and learn exactly who it is that they're talking to here. This is a great example of Courtney Embry.
Oh, thank you. So I had a waterfront house listed, and it was a great price range. This was what I would consider like in a down market. So this house had been on the market for quite a while. I had spent a lot of time on it. I had spent a lot of marketing dollars. But when I finally got it under contract, that's when the seller told me that she was upside down in it. And she had not been making her payments the last couple of months, which turned into a short sale, and which is a terrible name for that because there's nothing short about it.
Right.
And basically what happened was for this sale to close, I couldn't take any commission because it would have put her to where she was having to bring a certain amount of dollars to get it closed, and she just didn't have it. And so I made the decision, just get it done, just close it. And it hurt. And again, it hurt my family too, because I was looking forward to a nice payday, but I knew I could not in my heart not allow this lady to close her house, and it would have went into foreclosure. She would have lost it. And then also my buyer, because I represented both sides. Like, they were super excited about this home. And I just thought, here, I'm the one standing in the way is what I felt like. But anyway, long story short, at closing, of course, it was very emotional, and she hugged my neck and she was thanking me. And she said, I promise you, one day I'm going to pay you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I got in my car, and I had an overwhelming feeling that I knew I had done the right thing. But then I also thought, I'm never going to see that money.
Right.
I'm never going to see it. And I just thought, but that's okay. I did the right thing. And about 3 months after that, she called me and she said, where are you? And I'll never forget it. I said, I'm actually pulling into the church. I'm dropping my girls off at Vacation Bible School. And she said, I'm about 15 minutes from there. Can you wait on me? And I said, sure. You just want me to wait on you in the parking lot? And she said, yeah, I've got something I want to give you. I said, okay. And so I waited, and she rolled in and she handed me a check for the full commission.
That's so awesome.
So, yeah.
That's so awesome.
And part of me wanted to just give it back to her. I just wanted to think, wow, like that. Yeah. I never, ever thought that I would get it, but that wasn't the point either. Like, I just knew I had to do the right thing, and it came back.
Yeah, I love that. And so we have the honor of knowing some of your agents, right? And we get to see them on the Thursday class that we do and all that kind of stuff. And we love seeing them on there. 100%. I can see that in them.
Yes.
Just on the conversations based on who you are. And so I 100% love that. And here's what I struggle with. I know a lot of agents out there look at things the same way, and they're just not in the environment that supports them the same way that, and looks at things the same way that you do. So I appreciate you being the kind of broker that is going to do the right thing and is going to help people out and is going to help your agents out. They know about personal brand, right? We just got in a conversation with some of them about that, and that comes from you. They know about their community, and that comes from you. They know about making sure that they're taking care of their clients, and it's not all about the commission dollar. We all have to feed our families, but it's not all about it's all about the commission. It's not all about the commission dollar. So we love it that you're that example for those agents. We think that's absolutely fantastic. And if there's agents struggling in your market that they just don't see that same thing in their environment that they're in, I'm just going to encourage them to reach out to you and sit down and have a conversation, because I know that's who you are. So
thank you for that. And I honestly believe that. I just feel like if you get into real estate with your focus is on the money, I just believe you're setting yourself up for failure. It cannot be about the money. It has to be about the client, and it has to be about truly helping them. And then my belief is the money will come.
Yeah. We call it commission breath. Somebody's got commission.
You can smell it. You can smell it a mile away.
You smell it, it's just horrible. I hate it when people have commission breath.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us really quick a little bit about, tell us a little bit about BrickDriven Realty, and even like where it's located, that kind of stuff. And if anyone wants to get and connect with you, they know where to go.
Yeah, shameless plug. BrickDriven Realty. We have 3 offices located in the Huntsville-Madison area, and then we are located in Florence, Alabama, and we also have a office in Rogersville, and then we also have an agent who services the beach. So I like to say that we have the whole state covered. So you can find us anywhere in the state of Alabama, but predominantly in Northwest, in the top corner of the state.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that so much. Courtney, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we got to have her back, pick her brain a little bit more. That's one of our favorite things, is those follow-up interviews. Matt, anything else you want to add before I put a little bow on it?
Nope, not right now.
Awesome. Guys, we appreciate you being here. It's you guys listening that makes this so amazing. Matt, Brokers Open Podcast. It's not just about open houses.
It's about open minds. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you.